Welcome everybody to another episode. This is the Good Bit Podcast. Thank you very much for tuning in this week. Really appreciate your time. We're here to talk about a brand new film. I say brand new, it's actually not brand new, but it's definitely newer because it's still in the cinemas. We're talking about The Fall Guy this week with Ryan Gosling and Emily Blunt. Very star-studded cast. Really not star-studded as the film I saw last night that we're not going to talk about in this episode.
I've not seen it yet.
I'll wait until Rachel's here because she saw it with me, but it was If, and it has Ryan Reynolds. I keep getting the two Ryans mixed up. Ryan Reynolds, and it had Steve Carell and John Krasinski and a bunch of other people. So big cast for that one. So some big films out just now.
Yeah. Good time for cinema.
Good time for cinema. And it's a good time to have your unlimited card. So thank you for joining the club with me. Have you been to see anything else this week? I don't think you have.
No.
But you've been watching some stuff on TV. Oh, you started Ozark.
Started Ozark. How I've not started this show before, I do not know. You've clearly just not done a good job pitching it to me.
I know. Well, Ozark was my lockdown show, and then it's taken you 4 years to finally... What made you want to watch it? Just looking for something new?
Yeah, I was just on Netflix and I was like, oh, what did I watch? Because I was in my era of like comfort, so it was just Criminal Minds and watching my reality TV, all my housewives and
all your different housewives,
Vanderpump Rules and all that rubbish stuff that people will be like, what are you watching that for? And like Married at First Sight.
Classic. Wow.
So yeah, but I was on Netflix and it obviously spoke to me so much about Dexter,
right?
And I started that. Did not like Dexter. Just couldn't get into it. Just I don't know the vibe of it all. I just couldn't get.
So please tell the listeners how many episodes of it you watched.
1.
Right. Okay. You've immediately disregarded your whole argument already.
No, but if a show doesn't get me hooked, then
on the first episode.
I know, and then here's me trying to convince him to watch Game of Thrones. I'm like, you need to give it a couple of episodes. You know what I mean? Get used to that.
I know.
Anyway, so yeah, I was like, oh, Dexter. And then I was scrolling and it was like one of those, because you watched this, you might like this. And I was like, oh, there's Ozark. When you've watched that and you really liked it. My dad watched it. He really liked it.
And it's only 4 seasons, so it's definitely manageable.
Yeah, I was like, oh, do you know what? I'll give it a go. For whatever reason, I don't like Jason Bateman.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I don't know. Just something about him. Don't know what it is. Just never enjoy him. I don't know if it's because he always plays the same kind of characters of like...
He's very good at playing the straight man. He's a straight man in like Arrested Development and stuff like that, where it's like everything's going on around him and then he's just, but yeah, no, I like him, but obviously he's in a couple of things I like, you know what I mean? So that's why I'm going to like him.
So watching that and loving it. Still on season 1. I've not like binged it and went all in, but the cast is amazing. Which
I'm quite impressed by, the fact you've not gone all in on it, because you normally do.
Normally I do. I think it's because I've got a lot happening right now with my reality TV shows. So I've got
like... you're going to be like, there's a lot going on in my personal life and it's hard to kind of manage.
Well, I mean, that no, but hey ho. No, because I'm like, on a Monday I need to watch this show because that episode releases and I don't want to watch a spoiler on TikTok or anything.
I feel like you're finally now understanding why I don't watch TV shows. Because I have a TV show that I watch so much throughout the week, every week, that I have to watch. Yeah. And that's my wrestling. Yeah. You watch the reality TV. You've not got time to watch these other great art house things because you're too busy watching Vanderpump Rules on a Thursday. You know what I mean? I'm the exact same way. I need to watch AEW on a Thursday morning. I need to watch Raw the next day after a Monday night.
But the difference is, right, completely different with reality TV and your wrestling, right? Okay. Because wrestling is a sports entertainment. Mm-hmm. Right, so you're kind of following storylines and all that, right? Yeah. But it's also on for about 2 to 3 hours, half the time.
With adverts.
Right? Whereas...
Fly just came in the room.
That's just appeared out of nowhere. I can't even see it, I could just hear it.
I was going to try and put the mic next to it so you can hear it buzzing.
Oh, that's horrible. Anyway,
that's going to distract me.
Wrestling's on for... Whereas my reality shows, it's like 45 minutes.
That's fair. That's absolutely fair point.
And it's like 1 episode a week. So it's like... I've got like The Valley, which is terrible, but I've got The Valley.
The Valley?
Yeah, The Valley. No, it's like a spin-off of Vanderpump Rules. There was a whole thing, like the Vanderpump Rules cast were all supposed to move over to this new show called The Valley because they're all getting a bit older.
Right.
And none of them are working in Lisa Vanderpump's restaurants anymore because they're all reality stars.
I can't be a real name.
What, Vanderpump?
Lisa Vanderpump?
Yeah, Lisa Vanderpump.
Wow.
Yeah, oh, what woman.
Oh,
what a woman.
Iconic.
She's a housewife, Beverly Hills housewife.
Right.
So this is how it all started. And then the cast of Vanderpump Rules, which were like her like waiters and bartenders in her restaurants, they were supposed to move over to the Valley and like start this new show because they all lived in the Valley. But then there was a big scandal, big cheating affair that came out, rocked the whole entire season. And then they've all just stayed at Vanderpump Rules, and the Valley's kind of kicked off with other people, which is terrible and actually really, really toxic.
Well, it's not as good.
And I'm really not enjoying it actually because it's like, obviously these shows are partly not scripted, but like
it's scripted reality. Yeah,
do you know what I mean?
That's fair. Yeah.
But you're just seeing them like trying to stick to, right, we need a bad character, we need a good character, like, whereas everybody in this season is like unhinged. There's somebody that's pregnant that's like a complete bitch, but you can't say she's a complete bitch because she's pregnant. And like there's somebody, Kristen, who was in Vanderpump Rules early seasons, who was a psycho, but she's now came back in the Valley is like older and mature. She's like, yep, different this time, but she's still being categorized as like this psycho bitch. And I'm like, no, but she's not. Like, she's actually, I mean, she is, she's not making some good decisions here, but everybody needs to give it a chance. Like, it's so toxic.
I thought The Valley was that not a reality show in the UK? The Valley's set in Wales years ago, like Geordie Shore.
No,
I'm pretty sure it was. I'm going to Google that unless I've just made it up. That's what I thought you were talking about.
No.
All right, maybe not then. I'm sure it was.
No, I'm currently in the world of Bravo, which is the production company. But anyway, so yeah, I've been watching my reality.
The Valley's British reality TV series in Cardiff, Wales, broadcast on MTV. The most outrageous TV show ever.
Why would I watch that?
But you're not talking about like you're not talking about like Geordie Shore and that? No, would you know?
No, I never really got into Geordie Shore.
No, alright, well, that's what I was talking about there. I was trash TV.
No,
4 seasons.
My trash TV is like American trash TV.
Okay, got you.
On Hey You, Bravo only.
I watched some of Jersey Shore back in the day.
I watched The Real Housewives of New Jersey. That's intense.
What, they always go camping? It's intense.
Oh, that's terrible.
Just a wee joke. Just a camping joke for you there. Okay, so what else has been going on? How's your week been? You've been doing good? Been to see some good stuff this week? That was a segue. I'm hoping you pick up on it. We went to see Michael McIntyre this week. At the Hydro. I was trying to get you to do the segue, but you're just no with it.
I have no idea what you're talking about. I keep swinging.
Before we talk about what we've seen this week, you just received a gift from my sister before we started rolling there.
I did.
Why don't you show everybody what you got? Rachel's just back from France and she's brought Iona back a gift.
Yeah, she went to the south of France. She went to Nice, which I've been to. When did I go to Nice?
Don't know, mate.
And I loved it. Just a place I always wanted to visit. So she went. And she came back and she gave me a little baguette. No, it's not actual bread. It's a pen. Who knew?
A baguette pen.
It's a baguette pen. And I'm assuming there's also obviously a whole other reason why it's a baguette pen and why she saw this and thought of me. I don't know if we've told this story on the podcast before. But many moons ago, went to Paris with my family when I was younger. So there's me, mum, dad, 3 sisters. We're like young, all like under the age of 10, right?
Well, that's how young we're talking about. Okay.
Yeah. Were we that young? I think we were. And we're doing like the Euro Disney stuff, and then we're like, right, one day we'll go into Paris and do the Eiffel Tower. And we're going into Paris this day. It's the hottest day whilst we're in France that we go to Paris, right? So it's roasting, right? All we wanted to do was either be at a pool or in the parks, right? And we go, as we're getting closer to like the city centre, my dad's like, right, is anybody hungry? Does anybody want anything to eat? And we're like, no, we're fine, no, all good. We had like snacks and all that in our bag. Again, before we go to the Eiffel Tower, he's like, right, does anybody want to get anything to eat just now? There's a McDonald's, there's like all these wee like cafes and stuff. We'll get something now. No, we're fine. Get the train or whatever it was, or the bus, I can't remember what it was, to the Eiffel Tower. We literally get to the Eiffel Tower or standing underneath the Eiffel Tower and go, Dad, we're hungry. So at that point he was raging because he was like, absolutely, it's going to cost me an arm and a leg here for a small something to eat. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? To get ease by. So he went to a wee van and he got his baguettes and it was like ridiculous. I can't remember how much it was, but it was like ridiculous prices
for each baguette.
For each baguette. So it was this joke. Like then when we went to Paris last year. That
was last year, 2023. Yeah, great summer.
Last year, there was like a joke that was said. Like my dad had said to your mum and dad, like, oh, make sure you eat before you get to the Eiffel Tower.
Stay clear of the baguettes.
And stay clear of the baguettes. So then we went for lunch one day. I got a baguette. We sent a picture to my dad. It was great fun. They came home, picked him up a baguette making kit. Which he's actually still not done it. It's still in the cupboard, by the way. Kind of raging. A year on, he's still not done it. Paul, get it sorted. You do listen, so I am calling you out. And then, so Rachel then got me a baguette pen because she saw this in front of me. But, important question. Is it black or blue ink?
I don't know how important that question really is, but we're about to find out.
Really important. Who is it? Who's the actress that she's like, oh, I don't do blue, when she's like sure. Signing autographs.
Really, like a big actor.
Claire Foy.
Why was I thinking Claire Foy? That's strange.
Claire Foy.
Is that what she said?
Claire Foy. Yeah, she was like went to sign somebody's like an autograph thing, and she picked up the page. Oh, I don't do blue, and handed it back and like walked away. I was like, what the hell?
Interesting, right? So here we go. What are you going to write?
What did I write?
You could write something about the podcast. But as soon as you start writing, you're going to find out what the colour is. This is really good audio.
Well, I'll try again.
Yeah.
Try again.
Try for the first time.
Try for the first time on that. My brain's shutting down, guys.
There we go. And it is... I'm not going to be able to see it over here.
I know. Do you want to go over?
No, you should...
Will I do it? Will I write it into the camera? Let's do it all together, right? Okay.
Oh my God, this is... I'm so sorry, everybody who's listening to this and not watching it.
But this is fun. This is exciting. Right. Promise is. Right, can you see, guys? Guys, can you see my notebook? Do I need to shout so you can hear me?
Shout, yeah.
Right, ready? 1, 2. Can I just write on this page? Yeah. Ah, it's blue. That's so disappointing.
We hoping it was going to be black. Okay. Well, there you go, everybody. If that's not an incentive to go and watch the YouTube version, the video version on YouTube, then I don't know what is. We've just found out that Iona now has a blue pen.
Rachel, take it back. No, I'm kidding.
All the way back to Nice. All right. Well, I don't know where Ryan Gosling has been on holiday recently, but we know that he was in a recent film called The Fall Guy. I'm just looking for any sort of form of segue there. Don't you worry.
I was so confused.
So we went to see The Fall Guy this week, which is, I don't know, maybe it's just me being all stubborn and ignorant and being quite posh and stuff like that. I don't know. But we see when it comes to like these big blockbustery films, right? These like Hollywood films of today. Maybe it's just because I'm like a film guy now. I'm just more into kind of like independent cinema and like supporting local cinema and independent films that are like not getting as much buzz. But with blockbusters and stuff, I'm just not that fussed about anymore. Whereas back in the day, I would have been like, oh my God, we've got a huge film coming out. Don't get me wrong. If there's a new Star Wars film, a new Marvel film, I'll definitely go and see it and be, excited about it, depending on what it is. But even just like the bog standard blockbuster doesn't do anything for me anymore.
No.
Right? So when this comes out, I'm like, right, okay, as a cinema goer, and as a cinephile and a film fan, I'm like, right, well, that's a film I'm going to have to see because it's going to be kind of all over, the news and stuff. Listen, last year with Barbie and Oppenheimer, those are two blockbustery films, but you had to go see them, because everybody was talking about them.
Yeah.
So I was just assuming everybody would maybe talk about this film with Ryan Gosling and Emily Blunt and The Fall Guy, and I was like, right, we'll go and see it then. It was made by the same guy that did Bullet Train, which is a Brad Pitt film that I've not seen, that I would really be keen to see actually after watching this one. Let me just get the name of him up on here. David Leitch, who I don't know much about, but he did Deadpool 2. Okay, so it's got a relationship already. I guess me getting the Goslings and the Ryans mixed up again. I was literally going to say Ryan Gosling's Deadpool. Atomic Blonde, which is a film that I saw, which I thought was really good. And I also did Hobbs and Shaw, that Fast and Furious spin-off. So yeah, I've not seen Bullet Train, but I do fancy it now.
I've not seen any of them. I was surprised. No.
But yeah, so basically the tagline is fall hard. I'm not sure about that. I guess falling hard in love, is that the pun? Okay. So it says here on Letterboxd, fresh off an almost career-ending accident, stuntman Colt Seavers has to track down a missing movie star, solve a conspiracy, and try to win back the love of his life while still doing his day job. So Ryan Gosling is a stuntman, which was a different perspective, which was quite nice to see in a film. And he's just like, he's pure bonding with one of these, like, was she a camera operator or was she like a before she became a director, Emily Blunt's character.
Camera
operator kind of person. So he's like going on dates with Emily Blunt's character. He has a really bad accident whilst doing a stunt, so he just completely kind of shuts off from the world and the business and the industry, including the people in it, for years. No, a year and a half, 18 months. And then one thing leads to another. He gets back in the business. He reconvenes and reconnects with Emily Blunt's character. She's a bit raging the fact that he kind of dropped off the face of the earth from it and from her. So it's all about reconciling that relationship between the two of them. And then the actor that he's the stuntman for goes missing. So it's a big conspiracy. We obviously don't want to spoil too much of it, but there's a big conspiracy involving him, and it's all about Ryan Gosling trying to track him down. From the request of Hannah Waddingham. Is that how he says her name? Waddingham, who you're a big fan of. Yeah. Although she plays a bit of a villain in this one.
She does.
Not the nicest person.
No.
Yeah. So tell me what you thought then of The Fall Guy. Seeing a big blockbuster in the cinema is always a big deal.
Yeah.
But it wasn't one that you were particularly buzzed about.
No. I think it was the last time we were at the cinema together, and it came on in the trailers, and I just remember thinking, okay, that's me seeing the whole movie.
Exactly. That is what it feels like.
I don't know. I feel like trailers these days are just giving too much away. I don't want to see everything. Like, there's moments that I want to see first time in the movie. I don't want to expect it. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, I wasn't. It's a bit too hard for me, or it's a bit tough to say I wasn't looking forward to it. But I just didn't have high hopes.
Really? That was sweet.
Yeah, I was like, I'm going in and I know what I'm expecting, or that's what I thought. And I actually enjoyed it a lot more than what I thought I would. It was really funny. It was obviously the stunts and all that were really, really cool.
It was really cool.
But the story was a lot more thought out than what I thought it was going to be. I just thought it was a blockbuster movie with like big stunts, big names, well done.
Typical.
Get people in the cinema. But no, the story was actually really cool. So yeah. What do you think? I don't know how much you want me to.
I sent you all your notes.
I didn't know if you want me to pure just go for it.
Well, it was, I really enjoyed it as well, and it's kind of what you're saying there about the trailer. I think you mentioned this as well the other day when we watched it, is that nowadays trailers are so long. I don't know if that's like a new thing, or if it's just when I say these days, I don't know how, the trailer's so long, there's so much in the trailer, right? So the big thing is you see lots of the stunts in the trailer, and you see Gosling and Emily Blunt kiss.
Yeah.
So I remember watching that going like, well,
that's the story.
That's the whole thing then.
Yeah.
So obviously they're not going to put the whole thing in the trailer, so there must have been, more to it. And it turns out it starts off with them a couple. I thought it was maybe going to be like he's fighting for her and then they get together and stuff like that, but they start off a couple and then they kind of fall apart sort of thing. So the kiss, I suppose, isn't too much of a spoiler. In the trailer, probably didn't. But I do think there's too much in the trailer because I think that the film might suffer. It has made money. I don't know if it's made money, but it's done okay. But I don't know if it's made as much as they were hoping. But I think it's going to hurt the fact that people are going to be like us that have seen the trailer and are going to be like, right, okay, I've seen the whole film. I'm not going to bother paying the extra money to see the rest of it.
Because I wasn't really that fussed when you had said, I'm going to go see The Fall Guy. I was like, okay, if I can come, I'll come.
Aye.
But I'm also not that bothered, so go see it fight me. Which is a terrible attitude to have because I've got a card. I really should use it.
My thing is with the card and the membership is that we're going to see the big things anyway, so we need to just go whether they look good or not, which is we'd be daft because you know what's going to happen. Someone like Ian Grieve or whoever is going to go, oh well, you saw it, didn't you?
Yeah.
And you will have to go no, and they'll be like, what do you mean you didn't see it?
But yeah, just with the trailers, I don't know. I'm like, in my opinion, I should see a trailer, and then I should be like, okay, now I want to now go and Google the movie, and find out what it's about.
Yeah.
And then right now I want to go see it. I don't want to just see it all. Like, it just gives too much away.
The purpose of the trailer is to get you in the door, sort of thing. Get you interested about it, not
to get
actually
pique
put
my
you
interest,
off.
not actually show me, okay, this is kind of what this whole movie's about. Like, do you want to come see it? No, because now I know what it's about.
I know it's, okay.
So yeah.
And that's why I avoid the trailers, because I'm probably going to see it anyway. I know you don't like the fact I always leave when the trailers come on.
I know, literally every time we sit down We're sitting, I'm trying to get comfy, trying to make a cup of tea, a trailer's starting, he's like, right, stands up and goes to the toilet.
Well, I don't want to see, because exactly what we're talking about here, I don't want to see the trailers because they're going to show too much.
I know, but then I'm still sitting, so why don't we just wait until after the trailers to go into the cinema?
That's cutting it a bit fine.
That's cutting it a bit fine.
I like to get my seat.
My anxiety would be on edge.
And also I like to get in early enough so you don't need to disturb anybody else when you're finding your seat.
Yeah.
I like to get in early.
Right, so next time I'll just take headphones and a blindfold, right?
Fraser. I used to go to the cinema with Fraser all the time and used to take earphones and listen to music during the trailers. So
See, that wouldn't work because you could still hear it.
Not if you get earphones in.
No, you still be able to hear it.
Alright.
Or I'd be like, I can hear something.
Aye, you know, distraction.
And then I would stop listening to the music even though it's still playing, and I would try and figure out what's happening on the screen.
God, I'm looking at my reviews here on Letterboxd, which you can follow me, by the way, on Letterboxd. That's CM42TV, or just search my name, Chris Moffat. I've literally just wrote, enjoyed a lot more than expected, as I assumed I saw the whole film in the trailer. But I think that was the point. Takes you on another journey. Not very thought-provoking thoughts here. So my first point here is that I don't normally, in these big films, I really actively dislike when there's like too many explosions and there's too many stunts and there's too much of the big stuff that's happening, right?
It's too much.
However, right, this film gets a pass because of what the film is, right? The whole film is about stunts. He's a stunt man. It's about the film industry. It's about the action industry. The gimmick of the film is all these things. So you'd feel a little bit like, I thought there was going to be more stunts if he came out of this film and there wasn't as much. So there had to be loads. Like things like when he's on the boat and stuff, when he's on the speedboat thing and there's a massive explosion, he dives into the water and stuff like that. Like all that stuff, that's fine in a Bond film. But it's always the climax of the Bond film, that one big moment of the Bond film.
Yeah.
Or Mission Impossible or whatever. But it was just another stunt in this one. But that's the gimmick, that's the point. So I'll let it off this time. I'm not going to come and moan about the fact there's too much of everything and all the big moments don't mean much because it's already done. If you've already seen all this stuff early on in the film, it doesn't mean as much by the end of the film. But this film gets away with it because of the gimmick of what he is and who he is.
The whole thing is about being,
you know. But I thought the stunts were really good. Did you think that as well? And the fights and stuff?
Yeah, really seamless. Because sometimes you watch some things and you're like, I'm watching somebody pretend to punch somebody. Do you know what I mean?
Do you feel like that?
Sometimes, like, or alright, here's your big fight scene or your big like car chase. Here we go. Yeah. And I think I said this as well before, not also on the podcast, but when we've been talking. Sometimes when you've seen one action movie, you've seen them all.
Okay. To an extent.
To an extent,
right.
Obviously, like things like Mission Impossible and James Bond, are like in the Bourne films, like they are so different, but at the same time, you see one stunt, you've seen them all. Like you've seen one car chase, you've seen them all. So when I was watching it, I was like, okay, kind of know how this is going to go, but it was still really impressive, obviously. And then because it was so much, it wasn't as if like I think that's what I'm trying to say. Sometimes you feel like you're watching an action movie, it's like a tick box, like, okay, so we need like a big jump, we need a car chase, we need a fight scene, we need like something to do with like weapons, and he loses his weapon, then he chucks a frying pan, like, do you know what I mean?
Water.
Like we need like whereas with this there was like loads of different stuff, which I enjoyed.
Cool. Yeah, and a lot of the fight scenes, again, I've not seen that bullet train film.
Yeah, that's maybe really good for it.
Yeah, and I've heard that's like the fight scenes, like long fight scenes, long takes and stuff on the train and stuff, so maybe that is one to check out actually. But I thought the stuff was really good, and I thought it was a total kind of love letter and kind of admiration post and tribute almost to the stuntmen and women of the industry in cinema history, really, because you've never really seen there's been films with stuntmen in it and stuff like that, and obviously there is great stunts and stuff, but it is something that you overlook when it's done right. You're not supposed to notice the stuntmen and stuff, you know what I mean? So the fact that there was a whole film dedicated to that, there was loads of stuff like especially at the end of the film when they're kind of, I don't want to spoil what happens, but they're coming to the end of the film, and there's loads of stunts going on. There's lots of like thoughts going into how they're going to do something, and there's loads of like people that you've not seen in the film yet helping him out to do all this stuff. And I was like, I wonder if these are just like other stunt guys, and they're getting an opportunity to kind of be in the focal point of this film, which I thought was a really nice touch. And even so, when the credits started rolling of the film, they saw like a sort of B-roll part of the credits, which is like some bloopers and outtakes, but like loads of the stunts actually been done, and the stunt guys kind of talking to each other, having a laugh, interacting with Ryan Gosling, all this sort of stuff. So it did feel like a total tribute to that area of the industry.
And I think from that, not this movie's like industry changing,
revolutionised it or whatever.
Yeah, I think it's gonna then open up a conversation of like giving them
on like a pedestal, like a kind of a spotlight.
Like when we said like about like the Oscars, like being able for like opening up like kind of an award for them, because there's so much at these award ceremonies, but sometimes you're like, but there's so much more.
Yeah.
And I think that's what's happening now, and I think it's because of social media, is that people are now realising what it takes to make a movie.
Mm-hmm. All the different moving parts that go into it.
And put these things on. Whereas before, like years ago, before social media, it was like these celebrities and oh my god, they're like Hollywood actors, almost like untouchable. Like they're on a pedestal, they're separate from us, they're not the same. Social media kind of made them a bit more
humanized,
and you kind of got to know them a bit more, and they're a bit more personable. But in that, then opened the kind of doors to like the rest of Hollywood, and like the writing and the producing and like everything. And I just think it's so cool to kind of see that change, and hopefully we see something in the next few years. I would love to be able to do stunts, but I do not have the balls for that.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? I gave myself a black eye doing a somersault in high school, scarred for life, never doing it again.
I used to love doing stuff, and I used to wrestle and stuff. I looked into it once and I was like, nah, there's no chance I'm going to be able to do that. Obviously there was writer strikes and stuff last year.
Yep.
And just when you're talking about social media, I don't know how much of a pedestal, obviously it would have been in the news and stuff, but social media probably helped the buzz of that and getting the message across and seeing how much everything was affected. So social media is so full of negativity and there's so much badness that comes from it, but there's also a lot of good that social media can do for the industry and that sort of thing, right? Total love letter. Think about the Oscars is a good point, because there's this new category coming out next year for casting.
Yep.
Which is going to be interesting to see how they're going to award that. Obviously, it's a huge part again that goes into it. You know what I mean? So definitely needs recognised, and it's hard work to cast people. And if you get it right, then you've just nailed it. It's a big responsibility, and it's an award that doesn't exist. But they should absolutely then be an award for stunt people. Maybe there is. I mean, obviously there's like best choreography and there's like visual effects and stuff like that, but there's no stage combat awards, there's no fight scene awards, there's no fight choreography awards.
Not that we know of, that's like mainstream.
Yeah, exactly.
A part of like the big ceremonies. Like I don't know, they could have like their own reunion going on and they've
absolutely,
do you know what I mean?
What I'm saying is it should be looked at the Oscars, at the Golden Globes.
Yeah, they should be recognised for that.
The Golden Globes have a reputation of being a bit more fun. So you could do something like that, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like for stunt people to get a little bit of recognition. So this will help it. Especially there's a moment in the film where someone says to Ryan Gosling's character, Colt, says, so the stuntmen win awards. And it's like this long shot on his face that he's like, nope, they don't. And it like stays there for a second as if like it's a message, like they're trying to say something there.
Yeah.
And I actually remember noticing that and thinking, I wonder if that was on purpose to kind of go, there probably should be one.
Was.
Some
of the pattern in this was rather amusing.
Yeah, there was a moment where we're doing this spoil too much, but there is a line that Iona was howling at actually. More so for like the shock value, right?
It was the shock. I did not expect it, yeah.
So what was it?
Obviously you don't want to spoil anything, but there was just a moment where things were a bit messy after a kind of fight had broken out in one of the movie trailers, and Hannah Waddingham's, I can't remember the exact phrasing of the line, right, but Hannah Waddingham's character came in, who plays a producer on the movie, and came in and had said something along the lines of, what was it, like, it looks as though Johnny and Amber have been in here, referencing Johnny Depp and Amber Heard. And if you don't know, there was a big trial
about domestic violence, which is really serious.
Violence and defamation and all that stuff. Because so much has happened within that. I cannot wait for a documentary to come out about that, by the way.
Even just to understand the story and stuff,
it's so wild. But yeah, just the way she delivered it, it was so fast and in between
like
all this other stuff
comment,
that was happening, that I was like, oh my god, she said that. That was a joke in the movie. And I just laughed. I was trying so hard not to laugh out loud because nobody else in the cinema got it. Granted, there was only about 5 other folk in the cinema at this point, but everybody else was, from what I could tell, was just still watching the movie. It just passed by.
I totally missed it.
And you were so confused. You're like, what are you laughing at?
Yeah.
It was so funny.
But there is moments like that are a bit of a shock factor. So, but you said like it almost felt as if they were just at that moment like just riffing ideas. And that's the take they went with because they thought it might be the most shocking or whatever.
Yeah, because it's one of those moments where, I don't know, you see it all the time and like you're kind of behind the scenes stuff and your blooper reels and all that of right, you need to say something funny here that's got a bit of impact. Like, here's a joke.
Something relevant.
Yeah, we need a gag. We need something. And it's just one of those things in my head, I can just picture it being like, take 1, take 2, right, try something new, and whatever take it was, they've just went, that's funny, we're keeping that in.
Yeah.
Whether that was in the script, whether it was Hannah, whether it was a writer on set that said try this joke, I don't know, but that was just because the shock of it. I was like, oh god, are they going to get like backlash for that?
Yeah, they need to be careful with some of that stuff.
But I really hope not. I think we had this conversation before as well. I can't remember what film we're talking about comedy and like people that get offended.
That's right.
People that get offended by jokes and like take it personally, like just ruins the whole point of comedy. So yeah, I really hope they don't get any backlash for that.
Yeah. Okay, cool. I want to talk about the soundtrack because they did have, an original score. There's lots of stuff on Spotify from the film, but there's also loads of like jukebox choices from iconic songs. You Give Love a Bad Name, Bon Jovi kicks off. I Was Made for Loving You in Numerous Ways, by Kiss, and also there's a cover in there as well that you really liked. There is Thunderstruck in there by AC/DC, it's just an iconic song. All I Do Is Win, DJ Khaled. I Believe in a Thing Called Love by The Darkness. Genie in a Bottle by Christina Aguilera. Motley Crue songs, Phil Collins songs, Joan Jett songs, loads of stuff. Good. There's an amazing scene with Ryan Gosling in his car singing All Too Well, Taylor's version. And it's like obviously like 10-minute song that they've got like at least like 3 minutes of him just sitting there singing it word for word. And I don't know the song very well, but I know it obviously. I've heard it a couple of times. And it made me want to go and listen to the song.
It's so funny.
Such a good scene.
That was in it. I knew that song was part of the movie. I don't know if it's in the trailer or not. Actually,
I felt Rachel knew that as well. Actually, it must be a thing on Twitter. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, on Swiftie TikTok. Which, by the way, I keep forgetting I'm going to Taylor Swift, and I don't know what I'm wearing yet.
Oh God, Rachel's got her outfit. She's wearing cowboy boots.
Yeah, she's had hers planned for ages. I think. I don't know what I'm wearing. Anyway,
but great soundtrack.
But yeah,
absolutely great soundtrack.
That was a great moment. I loved that.
Okay, one of my other notes then was the actual like. I wrote, and without sounding like I'm taking the mick, the stunts were outstanding. So the stuff they actually did do all looked great.
Yeah.
And it's a big budget film in Hollywood, I know, but it's like they had to make them look good because it's a film about stuntmen. They had to be epic in some cases, you know. And I don't know whether it spoils stuff. It's like it's such a weird line because it's such a new film. But there's a moment, potential spoiler coming up. There's a moment where Ryan Gosling's character, in theory and storyline, could potentially have been killed, but it's so obvious as the viewer how the film was going that he wasn't going to die. So what would normally happen is that this big thing would happen, then he'd leave it like 5 minutes, and then he would make a miraculous return, and oh God, he's alive! Oh, yeah. But we already knew because we've seen films before that he was going to come back. Yeah. So instead of like having that big moment of tension, they just cut straight to him surviving.
Yeah.
And he's like underwater and swimming, so you knew he was alive the whole time. And I don't know why I liked that. I just thought it was like, it's giving the audience a bit of credit with that sort of stuff.
Yeah, kind of a bit of credit. Don't make us feel stupid. Do you know what I mean? It was nice being in on it. Like you felt as if, alright, we're in on the
joke.
Plot as well, because like that then led up to obviously. Don't want to give it away, but
I know
you were then in on it with everybody. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Which felt quite nice. Like you're part of the kill gang, the stunt gang.
If you get any other notes, I don't have anything else written down, but I thought it was really good. If people are like us, thinking, okay, like I'm not going to see it, I can't be bothered with it. I'll go and watch something more artsy. Absolutely fair enough. But it was actually really fun. It was maybe a little bit long and slow in the middle.
I was about to say there's moments where I completely tuned out. I was bored. I was like,
But I mean, it picks back up, with the fights and stuff. But there's a couple of bits in the kind of second act of the film. It's a little bit slow. But I would recommend it to my parents, like, who are looking for something to do on a Saturday night.
Oh yeah, I genuinely, I think it's one of those good, like, it's a movie night movie.
Yeah.
Like, as we said, it's a big blockbuster, so, like, it's definitely good. Like, I did enjoy it. I'm just looking at the notes that you sent me that are obviously my notes of what I've been saying.
Yeah. Read it out.
Phone call on the boat made your jaw drop.
There's a scene where he's on the boat and he's phoning Emily Blunt and he's really romantic.
Right. I can't even remember what was said, but...
Oh, that's the thing.
Yeah. Sometimes when you watch things, and obviously it's about this couple, right, or these people trying to reconnect.
Yeah.
And you've got, like, your cliche lines that will probably come up, right? And I think it's partly as well because I've been reading a lot more recently.
Mm-hmm.
Actually proper books with pages and words, and not just watching my reality TV.
Of course.
But I've been reading, and they've been love stories, they've been romantic novels, and they're just so good, and I'm just in the mood for, like, love. I just love love. So then there was this moment in the movie, and they were, like, having their moment. They're like, do you know what, it's okay. And they're on the phone call, and they kind of realised, it's to, do you know what I mean, have this connection, whatever it was. And just whatever he said, I can't remember. It's going to annoy me so much now. But whatever he said, I was like, oh! I was like, that really nice. It wasn't a cliche. It wasn't like, a bit naff. It was like, just, I don't know.
It was good writing.
It was just good writing, just the way it was said. And I think it is because I was in, like, my love era.
Yeah. And the books you're reading just now are the Emily Henry books she's just finished. Was it Book Lovers she's just finished?
No,
Happy Place. Happy Place,
Happy Place, yeah. I just love her writing. Book Lovers is the best, by far.
Okay.
By far. But then I've read Happy Place, Book Lovers, Beach Read. I've not read
Funny Story,
which is our new one, or You and Me on Vacation.
AKA People We Meet on Vacation.
So,
yeah.
Cool. I think there's something else here. Let me just scroll.
Nice. Well, yeah, no, I thought it was really good. I gave it 3.5 stars out of 5 on Letterboxd. So I'd be interested to know other people's Letterboxd ratings.
Post-credit scene.
Post-credit scene, yes, let's talk about that. Again, without spoiling stuff, it's so hard.
I know, you don't want to spoil anything. But before, earlier on in the day, when did we see this? The other day?
A couple days ago, yeah.
Said that morning, I was just talking to Mum, being like, oh, what are you doing today? And we're just chatting, and I says, I'm going to go see The Fall Guy with Chris. And she was like, is that based on the TV show? I says,
right.
TV show? I was like, didn't know that existed. And she, like, loved the TV show when it was out. She loved it. And when I was telling you about this later on, I was like, did she love it? Am I making that up? And then I said to her, but she was like, no, oh my God, it was so good. Like, she was like passionate about it. So I then knew, there's a TV show in The Fall Guy. It's about this, like, stunt guy that, like, tries to solve crime. And then obviously it said in the opening credits it was based on the TV show. So I was like, oh, right,
wow,
great.
There you go, yeah.
Post credits, which everybody left. That annoys me so much.
Yeah.
As soon as the credits roll, people get up and leave. No, sit.
Well, especially the fact that stuff happening during the credits.
Well, yeah.
You know what I mean?
But post-credit scene, without spoiling anything.
I feel like we're going to need to talk about this.
No, just there was somebody that appeared that joined said scene.
Yeah.
Older gentleman, and I was like, this must be something to do with the TV show, and it was the original Fall Guy. Which I just thought was nice. They've got him involved. Do you know what I mean? I don't know his name. Terrible.
I'm gonna look it up right now.
That should be on my notes, Chris.
I know. Sorry, I should have looked up earlier on. Sorry, I can't do different for you. But it's not like a Harry Styles moment at the end of Eternals.
No.
Where like you've waited all that time and then Harry Styles pops up. You know what I mean? But
Imagine.
It was the original Fall Guy, and his name is Lee Majors. So there you go. Also, right at the end of the film, there's a cameo from Jason Momoa. Which is so funny as well, because they mentioned him like 2 or 3 times throughout the film, and I thought it was just a gag, you know what I mean? Like mentioning Jason, are very like sexy, like big actor name, you know what I mean? because there's a bit where the actor that they're trying to find has got loads of post-it notes written about his apartment. It was a wee kind of callback to a very underrated Christopher Nolan film called Memento, and even do mention it does say it's like this is some Memento type stuff in here, which is a nice moment. One of those like if you know kind of moments.
Yeah, completely went past me.
It's like a Guy Pearce movie, and Guy Pearce's character, he can only remember, he's got amnesia, and he can only remember stuff by writing things on post-it notes, which we call back on that. And on one of the post-it notes, it says like, is it pronounced mimosa or Momoa? And I was like, that's just a funny thing to write in the post-it note. And then Jason Momoa pops up at the end. I like things like that. Like it's like it rewards you for paying attention.
Yeah.
I thought that was really good as well. So yeah, loads of funny moments actually like that. There's a moment where someone gets like body slammed or something. He's like, Dwayne The Rock Johnson, and immediately Iona like turns and looks at me. Of course he does. So we appreciate things like that, you know. So yeah, no, good film. We recommend it. Go check out this summer at the cinema.
Yeah.
So yeah, what would you give it out of 5 stars?
I'd give it like a solid like.
I'd give it 3.5. That makes you feel better.
Yeah, like a 3.5. Like, don't know if I'd give it. Maybe actually a 4. Like, because I enjoyed it.
Yeah, more than you thought, and it was a nice surprise and stuff like
it's
that.
one of the ones that if it was on the TV, I'd watch it again.
Okay, but that's always a good sign.
Don't know if I'd like go out my way to like. Again, it's different though now with streaming.
I know.
Like, you're never going to go buy a DVD again. Do you know what I mean?
Some of us will.
But yeah.
Some of us might.
You might.
Got no money.
Because I just bought them all off. Christ, I've been sitting there that long.
2 for £15 deal on Jackie Chan films the other day in HMV, Dragon Lord and Armour of God. Jesus.
Honestly, it's like an addiction.
Not quite. It could be. And if I keep going the way I'm going, it's going to be an addiction.
It is.
But yeah, no, sorry. Finish your point.
What was my point?
About streaming and it's difficult to just put something on.
Yeah, growing up anyway, we'd go see like a movie and it like you judge how good it was by deciding, right, are we going to go buy the DVD?
Buy the DVD, yeah.
And like now, I don't know, like you don't really do that.
Would you watch it again when it's on Netflix? I'm trying to do that. Like, I'm trying to be like, yes, this is a film I want to have and own and show my appreciation to the film by buying it. You know, but it's like, as you say, it's when they're just as expensive as they've ever have been, and maybe sometimes more expensive, it's even harder to justify buying them because it's just going to be on Disney Plus in a couple of days or a couple of weeks. Especially the Marvel films are going on like dead soon after.
Yeah.
So, yeah, don't know. But no, I know what you mean. I don't think it's at the level where I'd be like, okay, I want to add that to my collection. No. But I still enjoyed the film.
No, still really enjoyed it. Good movie night movie. Just like an easy, funny watch.
Yep.
Amusing. Yeah.
Alright, okay. I also saw a movie that you didn't see. It was called Love Lies Bleeding. I saw this the other day. Here's the poster.
What?
At the cinema. And I just wanted to quickly mention it because it's going to be one of those ones that's going to go totally under the radar as well. A bit like that Drive Away Dolls movie that I talked about, that it's just like we needed something to do, which just quickly went and saw this film and I was like, yeah, sure. And no one's going to even like talk about it, right? What's that face for?
What movie was that?
What are you talking about?
Drive Away Dolls? Well, that and all. When did you see that?
The Drive Away Dolls one is the one I talked about when we talked about Fight Club. It's the one about the prosthetic penises.
Oh, the penis, right, okay, got it.
The penis. So this one's called Love Lies Bleeding. It's an A24 film, and it's directed by Rose Glass. And it stars Kirsten Stewart from Twilight, Katie O'Brien, Ed Harris, and Dave Franco. For some reason, had been opened up in my tabs on my phone for ages. Someone recommended me this ages ago. I don't know if they saw an advanced screening of it or something like that, but it was maybe at a festival or something. Months ago, someone said, keep an eye out for this film. Right. Love Lies Bleeding. So A24, I'm on this kick now with these guys. It's like this production company that are putting out these and producing these great films. They produced The Drive Away Dolls, they produced The Iron Claw, they produced loads of stuff like those gritty films, and they're just on a bit of a roll just now. So they released this one as well. And it is about a young girl, Kristen Stewart. Kristen Stewart? Did you
ever get that? You say a word so many times, it just sounds like it's not a word anymore.
It's random, innit?
Yeah.
So she's the lead, and she is working at a gym, and she kind of falls in love with one of the other girls that go there, who is a bodybuilder. And she has a sister, and this abusive partner of her sister. And one day, the abusive partner does something to put her sister in the hospital, through domestic abuse, and Kristen Stewart, and the bodybuilder who is played by Katie O'Brien, her name is Jackie. They go to the hospital to visit her sister, and obviously sees what he's done to her, and then the bodybuilder Jackie decides, okay, I'm going to go and kill this guy. So she goes and just beats the shit out of him and kills him, and it's all about them trying to cover up the murder. And it was really good. Don't think I enjoyed it as much as Driveway Dolls, but it was fun as well, but it's a bit more gritty than the Driveway Dolls. Driveway Dolls was totally funny and stuff. This wasn't necessarily a comedy, but it was really good. We never really saw, there's this moment with Ed Harris's character that like they keep going back to about maybe he's done something bad in the past. I think he's Kristen Stewart's dad in it. And like he's done something in the past, and every time you see him it's all red and stuff like that, and like, oh, we're going back to what's happened back in the past and stuff, but it's never really played out. That's the only thing I didn't like about it. There's this creepy neighbour that had a really kind of interesting twist, that she kind of knew stuff that she wasn't supposed to know. There was a really horrible moment where the Jackie character, she's doing her bodybuilding show and she gets really nervous and she throws up on stage, but in her head it's not sick that comes out, it's like Kristen Stewart comes out of her mouth and she's sick, and it's just a really weird visual.
Right, I was going to see this, but see after that,
it was really strange. It's like a hallucination thing that she's going through. It's like in her head.
Well, I hope so.
But she's actually sick on the stage and stuff. So it's actually really good. It was really cool the way they kind of did it. The cinematography was really good in the film. The acting was absolutely immense, actually. And it's funny seeing Kristen Stewart, because not that she's see Twilight, right? It's not as if like her acting is necessarily bad. There's some weird stuff in there that's maybe not great, and the writing's not great and stuff. But when I'm talking about what makes Twilight so kind of embarrassing and laughable, Twilight is not her. You know what I mean? But she's really, really good in this. Really good. No,
she is. Well, everybody when Twilight came out, it said she is an incredible actress, but is completely miscast for Twilight. Because she was doing a lot of indie films, she was great, and they were like, why the hell is she being put and cast as like a romantic lead in a vampire movie? Like, they just didn't see it. And I think, anyway, Twilight's a whole different...
I know, we didn't do an episode about that, we were going to.
I know.
Well, no, we'll do that one over the summer, that's a good idea.
We're not doing it over the summer?
How?
Twilight is not a summer movie.
All right, so we need to wait till the autumn?
You need to wait till September at the earliest.
Right, okay, we'll do it.
Preferably November, actually. November's like peak autumn season for Twilight.
I'm looking through Kristen Stewart's kind of filmography here. There's not many that I've seen. I've seen Into the Wild. I've seen that. Adventureland, Happiest Season.
Was she in the new Charlie's Angels? I said new Charlie's Angels. It came out about 5 years ago. But she was in it, wasn't she?
2019.
Yeah.
Yeah. Along with Naomi Scott.
That was right maths. Elizabeth, oh my God, Chris.
Well done, you. That's good. So Love Lies Bleeding, another kind of indie film that's going to go under the radar, but actually pretty good. So I checked that one out as well. But yeah, I've seen loads of stuff recently. I've had a really good month film-wise, but I've not got much to talk about in an episode we're going to do with Rachel, so I'll maybe talk about kind of the weirder films. What we could mention as well before we go is that Netflix documentary, What Jennifer Did. Did you finish watching that?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah. Yeah, What Iona Did.
Yeah. Oh, we also need to talk about the other Netflix thing. We've not spoken about that yet, have we?
Is that Baby Reindeer?
Yeah.
We need to wait. I don't want to, it's too long, but that's a full chat.
Oh, no, it's not. We'll talk about that now.
Right.
Baby Reindeer was a lot better than what Jennifer did. That was pants.
No, I know it's a lot better.
It wasn't
totally
pants.
Different.
It was just quite... Yeah, what Jennifer did, doesn't it?
What Jennifer Did, yeah.
Yeah. Why does that feel wrong?
What Jennifer Did? I also think it's a bit of a lazy title.
Yeah. Anyway, it was really cool just how some lassie just completely compulsively lied to her parents.
And lied to her parents, lied to the police, lied about this whole thing. Good story though. Amazing
story. Good like foundation for like a proper messed up movie. Do you know what I mean? Like psychological, not thriller, but like.
Do you reckon they're going to make a movie about it?
I don't know if they'll make a movie about that, but I think that will be inspiring someone out there somewhere.
Yeah.
To write
something like this.
Like that. Because it's something that, I mean, we all know, I can't lie. Like, my face gives it away.
Aye.
So to see somebody be able to just so quick and like...
Fascinating, right?
Come up with a story and then completely lose sense of the story and lose track of what she said and what she hasn't said. It's so strange to watch.
Isn't it funny when all those things, like, as soon as one thing doesn't add up, it's like everybody's onto her and it just unravels. It's so amazing how one wee piece of information or piece of evidence can just unravel all this other history that leads to like a whole other plot twist and stuff like that.
And then like when they find her out, when they call her out on it, like a reaction to that, like it's, I don't know, you kind of, when you get backed into a corner, it's that kind of fight or flight response. Do you know what I mean?
It's funny how the body and the mind works in that situation.
So it's like, I was expecting like maybe like an outburst, or like then you see like her break and have like a big like rage moment or something. Do you know what I mean? Because she's like, if you're keeping something in for that long, it's, it must build up, man.
Well, it's that as well. And then like, just see when you talk about Netflix documentaries though, like it's so hard to kind of differentiate between what's a good one and what's a bad one, because it's all based on the story and stuff like that, right? If it's a rubbish story, then it's going to be harder for the documentary people to kind of put it together.
Yeah, but it's more so how it's made. Yeah, that's like, I've noticed a lot more.
Well, like how the information is portrayed to you, or is it like how it's edited and stuff?
Everything, like the whole production aspect of it all, how somebody investigates the story and how the story is then given to you through the documentary.
Well, I think that's why Making a Murderer is so good. I think that's the best docuseries I've ever seen, because it's so thorough. So there's that, and then was there one Tiger King, that one that came out in 2019,
Oh 2020. My God, like,
everybody was going nuts over it, probably because it was nothing else to watch in lockdown and it was so wild. But it's so well made because you kind of get like behind the scenes of the people involved, and then you see the real story, and then you see what they're saying, and there's all these different layers. So it's probably like the amount of information that maybe someone has, or a documentary company have, you know.
Well, yeah, that's what I was going to say. I think I don't know if I spoke about it in the podcast. I watched The Programme, which is a documentary on Netflix, which is about a boarding school for troubled teens. And it's basically these teenagers, like their parents would have them like kidnapped and taken to a school where they weren't allowed to speak, they weren't allowed to look at each other, they weren't allowed to like, it was all about getting them on track and like getting good at school.
It's on Netflix.
It's on Netflix. It's an incredible documentary.
Interesting.
I can't even remember her name. The girl that made it, she was one of the students that went to the school, so that's like, it's her telling her story and the story of like the people she went to school with, and it was just like how it's made. Like, I think it is more like that personal touch. Like, it's nuts.
Wow.
It's
okay.
So,
I'll check it out.
There's been quite a few documentaries about the kind of school system and like troubled teens. Like Paris Hilton, she had one because that was her whole story as well. Which I've not seen that one. But yeah, The Programme on Netflix. Incredible.
Quiet on Set was another one. Yeah, I also feel so strange talking about that. I've talked about this before. I feel like I need to, if we're going to do an episode about it, I need to make sure I know what I want to say before we talk about it, because it's such a, you know what I mean?
It's so heavy.
Such a heavy topic, and it's so, like, I just have such a connection to all these people and these TV shows, and these are things that shaped my life when I was younger and stuff, and like, just, it's weird because you want to you don't want any new information and stuff. It's like when information comes out about someone or whatever, you don't want it to tarnish your love for that stuff, but you need to know these things. You need to, you know what I mean? If that's the facts, if that's the truth, you need to kind of like know it and learn about it and stuff like that, you know. So
then it's that whole thing.
Responsible.
Yeah, it's holding people responsible, but I think as somebody that grew up watching all that kind of stuff, obviously you were a kid as well, so you're watching it for like the fun, do you know what I mean? And then you grow up as an adult, and when you find out this information, you're not thinking about it as an adult, you're thinking about it as like a child, because that's what you remember. You were that old, so it's like, it's so strange.
But now it's just like
how you process information.
The kind of people behind, like the writers and whatever, the person involved in making all these shows and stuff like that, it's like portrayed where like they were wanting to get like sexual innuendos in there, right? Now I always thought, or maybe adult jokes or whatever. Now I always thought, as I was getting older, maybe as like a teenager watching these things, I was laughing because I was understanding the jokes now, and I was like, I can't believe that they must have put it in because they thought like adults would find it funny. That's so clever. Whereas now after that documentary, it's like it was put in because it was maybe like a fetish, or it was something that he was in. You know what I mean? And it just totally changes The whole joke, the whole episode, the whole...
That's quite interesting, you thinking, they're put... Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, because I remember watching, like, The Amanda Show, and, like, some of the jokes on that.
Mm-hmm.
I'd remember sitting, feeling uncomfortable watching The Amanda Show.
See, I would never have felt uncomfortable. I would have thought, they know what they're doing because we're getting older now, and we're going to find that funny.
No.
Whereas now, it's like, that's disgusting. Imagine putting that in. Like, there's a shot where, like, in Zoe 101, one of the characters who I was like, this is one of my favourite characters when I was younger. Like, I felt as if I knew these people. You know what I mean? And there's a bit where she opens something and it's like a bit of yogurt and it like splashes on her face.
Yeah.
Now, to me as a kid, I'm like, ha ha ha, how silly.
Yeah.
But now knowing that was like a sex pun, it's just like, that's what the accusations are. Yeah. But it's like, oh my God, like it totally
even the stuff with like Ariana Grande on
Victorious and Sam and Cat.
Like watching, I remember watching that and being like, her character's it's quite funny, haha.
Yeah, Ditzy and
but
quirky.
Like I don't know, I always had the thought of, this is really awkward. Like, is this meant to be funny? I don't get how these jokes...
You always felt like that?
Yeah.
Really?
Always, yeah. I don't... And then I would think it's just not my sense of humour.
Yeah,
I just don't understand that.
It's not for me.
I just don't get it. I just don't think that's funny. I think it's weird. I think it's uncomfortable. I think it's strange. Like, yeah, I never...
And now you know why you thought like that?
And then now I'm like,
yeah. You're
got
just
instinct.
so clever, Iona. Wow.
Got instinct, girls, do you know what I mean? We've got it for a reason.
Right, we'll call it a day there because we're already an hour in and we've got places to be tonight.
We do. We're busy.
So busy right now, so trying to find time to get these recorded are becoming increasingly more difficult. But hopefully in the summer it'll be a lot more. We'll have a lot more time to do stuff.
Yeah, we will. We will.
Tell everybody what you're going to see tonight.
What's it called?
Dear Billy.
Dear Billy, I know, I keep going to call it 20 million different things. It's like something like...
Why would it be called 20 million different things? That's nothing to do with Billy Clinton.
Well, I keep going to mention it as if it's like Billy and Tim for whatever. Don't ask me why.
Totally different show.
No, Dear Billy, a love letter to the big one, and it's a show not about Billy Connolly, but for Billy Connolly from the people of Scotland. However, this has been curated. I have no idea. I don't know about the writing. I know nothing. I just know that it got big write up when it was at the Tron last year, I believe. And I just never got time to go see it. I think I had like festival and all that on with final year of college. And now I'm a year on. And yeah, then it said it's coming back to the Pavilion. I thought, I'm getting tickets, so nice me and Dad are going to see that.
Well, I hope you enjoy that. Let me know how it is. You can talk about it next time on the podcast. Thanks everybody for watching and listening to this episode of the Good Bit Podcast. Take care of yourselves and we'll see you all next time.
Bye.